will be the fourth bus coming by. I don't know if this is it, but Main Street South is running really late, I guess, or just not at all. We will find out finally. Only like 7 minutes late, but the bus not awful. We're on the other bus now. Blacksburg Transit is located in the town of Blacksburg, Virginia, in Montgomery County. It's centered around Virginia Tech, which is a large state school, thousands and thousands of students, huge campus, but the buses run around campus and throughout the town of Blacksburg, connecting all the way down to Christiansburg towards Interstate 81. They run a mix of diesel buses and electric buses. There's no fares on the buses. Some of them are articulated. This one I'm on currently is not. And overall, they run pretty frequent service throughout the weekday, and then they run half-hour schedules on the weekends. And this weekend, I was in town. It was final exam schedule for the students, so they were running earlier bus service, but still kept the half-hour schedule. For my purposes, I would have liked the 15, but I made do. So you might be wondering, what on earth am I doing in Blacksburg? The answer to that is visiting my brother, who goes to Virginia Tech, but I'm also, of course, filming the transit system that works surprisingly well. And now we're going to Kroger to go shopping. They even have Virginia Tech branding on the grocery store aisle signs. It's insane. Well, I just missed the Main Street South northbound, so it'll be half an hour before that comes again, but we have time for a bus shelter review. This one just has a light, a bench, these yellow dots that are just everywhere. Until then, I just wait. The bus stop with more routes has no shelter. Way down there, we've got the two-town trolley coming, branded as Route TTT. It's actually an express bus. I believe this is the last stop it makes before going back to Virginia Tech, so should be interesting to get both a local and express service on Blacksburg Transit. The two-town trolley, or TTT, runs between Blacksburg and Christiansburg. It makes a few express stops along the way. It doesn't really do any local service, which is nice because we actually ran express past the stop I was just waiting at, and I'm glad I walked to block because it would have been a few minutes longer for the Main Street South to come again. Overall, this route is pretty nice. I didn't ride more than just one stop on it, but if it runs this stop spacing for the express route, I thought that was pretty good. Thank you. Right now the bus is just going to sit there. Their schedules are so padded, they do time checks where they will just sit for the schedule to catch up with the bus, which, if that's a frequent issue, they should just change the schedule so time checks don't have to be a thing. Like even on their website, it says, don't want to wait for a time check, cross the street and get the other direction. Like that's not how to design a transit system. Like overall, it's been great so far, and there's no fare, there's no anything, but maybe a little better scheduling would be pretty nice. I'm now standing at Burris Hall, which is one of the other large bus transfer points on Virginia Tech's campus. In addition to the Squire Student Center, here the Heathwood line, among other routes, come and stop at the same time. I really do like timed transfers. They're quite nice. You can keep going in a direction or go back if you need to when you get to the end of the route. And the Heathwood line runs in a westerly direction from campus across the highway and towards more apartment complexes and shopping facilities. This was my first articulated bus of the day. I don't really know why Blacksburg Transit uses only front door boarding if there's no fare. I feel like it'd be more efficient to use all door boarding, especially if no one has to pay. And once everyone's off, you can just get on at any door. That would probably decrease stopping time. since if at a busy stop people need to all cram into the front door, that would take up time that they could either otherwise be spending just getting on the bus at any door. After getting off the Heathwood route, I got on the Toms Creek route, which is branded as Tom, and took that back to Virginia Tech's campus. From there, I got on the University City Boulevard line, also known as UCB, towards the north, where I was able to actually do a transfer off campus by walking a few blocks to the Main Street North. So my goal at this point was, or maybe not this point, but at least for the day, was to get all 9 of the weekend running bus routes at least once. So I had at this point the Main Street North, the Hokie Express, the Harding Line, and the Corporate Research Shuttle left to cover. Here's what I believe is a either disused or at least doesn't see weekend service bus stop. By the PhD route, not sure what that is, but not served today. Waiting for the bus right now, but I really want to ask, for Sunday full service, is it really just 9:30 a.m. to 10:45 a.m.? I mean, that seems kind of silly. Like, you can take a bus one way, and that's it. Kind of odd. Maybe it's meant to be 10:45 p.m. Not sure. Here it comes, Main Street North. After this, I have 2 more to ride. And really, with half-hour frequencies on the weekends and 15-minute frequencies on weekdays, I really don't have that much to complain about. I think my biggest thing with the scheduling would be the time checks. I mean, if they just remove the padding, or at least some of it, things could hopefully move more efficiently. And then, again, like I said, the outdoor boarding would be nice. But overall, I'm impressed with, how much transit access this small town actually has. I think it's great, especially I know it's oriented around the college, because Blacksburg is very much a college town. But I still think they provide a great service, even servicing areas that aren't necessarily directly connected to the college. So the Main Street North, when it gets to the Alumni Mall, becomes Main Street South. And the other way around, for the Main Street South, becomes Main Street North. Don't know why it's not just one route, but I guess everything's oriented around campus, so it makes sense in that regard. I had to get on the Corporate Research Center. I had to kind of jog to get here because I didn't realize it's like 6:23 p.m. It's on its last run, so I'm going to take it 2 stops to where it ends and then get the Harding Line, and I will have all the currently running Blacksburg Transit lines. CRC last run. On weekdays, they do run more routes. So, like the PhD I mentioned earlier, I checked with someone, it's actually Patrick Henry Drive. And there's other routes as well, like the MSG, and there's another Heathwood variant route. And they run on weekdays, and I assume they run 15-minute frequencies, which would be really nice. But they serve more areas, and I think probably just because more students are commuting to campus from different townhouses and apartment complexes throughout the town. So I think at least the fact that they have a decent number of routes running on the weekends is still nice. And at this point, I get on my final bus for the run. It's the Harding Avenue line, which, when it gets back to Virginia Tech's campus, just turns into the Hokie Express. Like, you don't even have to change buses. But the Harding line just kind of takes you straight, like, northeast into the mountains almost, and it almost feels like you're about to drive into the middle of nowhere, but it does turn around at the last townhouse complex at the end of civilization that is Blacksburg. But overall, this route was pretty straightforward. Does not actually pass really anything other than downtown, because after that it just runs through residential areas, and then there is a large cemetery does pass, but typically those aren't really big transit-oriented destinations, so really just more of a residential route. Thank you. Got off the bus. Was Harding, now it's Hokie Express, so all 9 done. Forgot to mention Hokie Express earlier, but I got it now. All 9. Overall, my experience with Blacksburg Transit was overwhelmingly positive. I haven't spent a ton of time on networks that consist purely of buses, but Blacksburg Transit is a pretty good example. They have excellent coverage of the town of Blacksburg. It's mostly centered around Virginia Tech as its focal point, but it does a good job of serving the other parts of Blacksburg. So if you were just a resident of the town, you could still easily get around on Blacksburg Transit. Overall, I had a great day riding Blacksburg Transit, and I thank you all for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you on the next one.